I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. I remember you.
Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm in the studio right now, BMJ studio. We've just been recording our podcast for the BMJ, student BMJ. It's called askRH. If you haven't listened to it already, make sure you listen to it. It is everything that they don't teach you in medical school, so come on. This video is basically how, without trying to sound arrogant, how I smashed my interviews, all three of them, and how I got my offers. There were certain things that I did which got me all of my offers. Now, to start off with, number one, I always say this to all students, aspiring students: research. Research is important for all aspects of life. Research is important, especially for your medical school interview. Why? Because your medical school interview relies on your confidence, okay? Your confidence to perform in the interview. Now, your confidence is determined by how much research and preparation you've done. So the biggest factor for my confidence was my research. I researched the interview so well to the point where I had like 12 pages for every interview that I was attending. Okay, 12 pages of printed out research that I had done, questions that I'd found online, how to answer each, like the difficult questions written out in bullet points, all the details about the university, the SSC. The Newcastle University have a component called the student selected component. I mentioned that. I mentioned how they have this hospital is linked with this like your university, that hospital is linked with this university. And I said to them, in my third year I could be placed in a hospital down in Middlesbrough, but I'm fine with that. That's the level of research you have to have, okay? Research on all the questions you could potentially be asked, research on everything to do with this medical school, and research on like why it is you want to do medicine and what's going on in healthcare currently, okay? So research basically entails everything. Make sure you have done all of your research and extensive research on the university. How can you do it? Look through forums, look through the university website, spend a long time on the university website. Some university websites even publish their university interview questions on there and marking criteria. If you haven't found that and if you haven't utilized that, you're losing out on a lot of points, okay? Spend a lot of time on the forum, spend a lot of time on the website, the university website, spend time on blogs, spend time on YouTube, and all of these resources that are available online free of charge. There are also paid resources that you can access, and some of them do help, some of them might not help, and that is up to you. The second thing is your person statement. Now, your person statement, I'm sure they will ask you a question on your person statement, and you have to be confident with your person statement. You have to remember all of the little things that they asked you, all of the potential questions that they could ask you, and be prepared with an answer for these questions. So, to give you an example, I said I like reading up on healthcare news and I like listening to the Radio 4 podcast called Inside Health, okay? Now, of course, then they're going to ask me a question on it. But I was ready. I was prepared. You think I'm going to go into this interview with no preparation? Of course I'm prepared. Come on. So they asked me this question and I said, yeah. So basically, yeah, this article that I recently read said that increasing your resistance exercises, basically working out in the gym for your muscles, reduces the risk of getting type 2 diabetes. I found this article very interesting. I found this research very interesting because in my family there's a high prevalence of diabetes. So for me, in order to reduce my risk of type 2 diabetes. So, do you know what I mean? Like, I knew they were going to ask me something along those lines, and I was ready for that. There are a lot of people I know who have slipped up because when asked a question on their person statement, they couldn't answer it. The third thing, speak to students at that university, at that medical school, the day before, a week before, or 2 weeks before the interview. Now, I couldn't find anyone, for example, that had went to King's College. I lived in Newcastle, right? And I applied to King's College. I didn't find anyone out of my friends that studied at King's College University. I couldn't get hold of anyone. And the internet wasn't exactly full of information on medical school interviews at that time. I'm talking 5-6 years ago, okay? So what did I do? I went to the med school 3 hours, 4 hours early before my interview, hanged around the medical school in my brand new suit, looking all, and basically I then went to the mosque to pray my prayers. It was time to pray, and then these medical students, I was talking to them, and they gave me guidance. Okay, they said, have you prepared for maths questions? Have you prepared for these sort of questions? Have you prepared for that? Have you prepared for this? And when I said everything that I said and gave them an example answer to like all of these example questions, they said, right, you're ready. You're ready for this interview. They didn't have to give me the interview questions. They just said you're ready. And when a medical student in the year above gives you advice and tells you that you're ready for this interview, you know how much more confident I felt. I felt really good at that point. And I went into the interview smiling and happy and ready to be asked whatever. So those are 3 things that I think will help you build your confidence and boost your morale when preparing for your interview. So thank you guys for watching. There's going to be a second part of this video. Make sure you check that out as well. There's a link in the description to my website where you can buy my interview notes and also see what else I'm doing these days and read my blogs. And yeah, also check out the other interview videos on my channel. Make sure you subscribe. But yeah, bye for now.